40 attempts to kill Hitler. A lot of them failed but begin to smell fishy when you look at all of them. People ask Reddit, what historical event 100% reads like a time traveler went back in time to alter history? I might have found a time traveler in Irish mythology. There's a mythological druid called Mugruth. He is claimed to have lived for over 1,000 years, living during the reign of different kings. Okay, nothing unusual for Irish mythology there. But he flew in a machine called the Ordwell, which sounds like a helicopter. He wore a hornless bull hide and a bird mask, which sounds like a flight helmet / cap and respirator pilots use. He drove a chariot that blinded those who saw it, deafened those who heard it, had sides of glass and was daylight inside, and it killed whoever it struck. Chap was driving a car with high beams, beeping the horn, had lights on the inside and was running people over. Edgar Allan Poe writes about an event 40 plus years in the future. Basically, Poe writes about 4 people who are starving at sea, draw straws, and kill and eat the loser, cabin boy Richard Parker. 40 odd years later 4 people are adrift at sea in a lifeboat, 1 drinks seawater and goes into a coma. When they draw straws for who will be eaten, the coma guy gets the short straw in a development that surprises no one. And so the 3 other men kill and eat the cabin boy. Richard Parker. Seriously. Cyanide gas attack thwarted in Tokyo subway. 20,000 people could have died, but a worker found a burning gas bag in a toilet just before it mixed with another poisonous gas bag, just in time, and put them out. That was in Shinjuku Station. I was in that station that day, and that person might have saved my life. Probably not time travel, but very good timing. There was a shipwreck in 1664, a shipwreck in 1785, and a shipwreck in 1820. Each had 1 survivor. Each survivor was named Hugh Williams. The Germans spent a lot of time and money developing a magnetic sea mine that probably would have significantly reduced England's ability to stay in the war, except they dropped a single one of the mines accidentally on an English beach. And also failed to arm it, so none of the booby traps were active, and the British basically found out straight away how it worked and were able to cheaply build magnetic minesweepers. The Commando raid on the Norsk Hydro heavy water plant in Hardanger, Norway during World War II. The Norwegian commandos parachuted in during one of the worst blizzards on record, along with hundreds of pounds of explosives, and had to trek through the Norwegian wilderness for 15 days before they found a hunting cabin. The English commandos who were supposed to link up with got shot down, and the only reason they were able to make it to the cabin was that they found one of the commandos' sled, which he had lost as a child. After that they had to hole up in the hunting cabin for months, waiting out the weather. They survived on moss until, on Christmas morning, one of the men managed to shoot a deer. They went on to destroy the heavy water plant as well as sink the ship carrying what heavy water had been produced, effectively ending any chance Nazi Germany had of developing atomic weapons. The story is even crazier and less plausible than I've described, but I'm on mobile so I've left some things out. A Belgian businessman was instrumental to the Manhattan Project's success. Realizing uranium's importance, he shipped 1,200 tons of it to Staten Island. When Lieutenant Colonel Nichols contacted him, he simply responded, "You can have the ore now. It is in New York. I was waiting for your visit." Reply: there's a lot more to that story. Thank just sending the material with no warning. He had some prior knowledge due to various things that helped him put the pieces together, but nonetheless still kinda whack. I would say there is significant evidence Fidel Castro. Every single assassination attempt failed, sometimes because of wildly miscellaneous circumstances, including a sabotaged diving suit that somehow got miraculously switched with someone else, who ended up drowning in his place. Dude holds the world record for over 600 attempts, I believe. When Andrew Jackson's assassin attempted to shoot him, both of his flintlock pistols misfired. Andrew Jackson had to be restrained after almost beating the assassin to death with his cane. The 2 flintlocks were examined after the incident and found to be in good condition. During the War of 1812, seems like a time traveler with weather control capabilities started a freak tornado that effectively ended the British occupation of Washington. More British soldiers were killed by the tornado's flying debris than by the guns of the American resistance. Reply: if time travelers have weather control capabilities, definitely also the Spanish Armada, twice. and the Mongol armada that tried to invade Japan. Twice. Divine Wind. If you want to support our new channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. We would also love to read some feedback in the comments. Thank you very much. DaVinci. The madman designed a tank in the 1500s. Reply. However, he designed the gearbox backwards to make any real version's wheels lock up and fail. He also designed a 12-barrel gun carriage, which is basically the machine gun on steroids, the early parachute, the double hull, the use of concentrated solar power, and a calculator. The man was several centuries ahead of his time. Reply. Imagine if that madman had access to steam power. Reply. You can thank the Romans for that. Hero of Alexandria developed the first steam-powered thing back in the 1st century CE. Then Rome went on one of their destroy everything sprees and smashed it, I guess. No one did anything else with that idea for another 1,500 years. Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived both the bombings at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Reads like a satirical time traveler story where the protagonist screws up his dates. Franz Ferdinand's assassination. It was so much happenstance, shenanigans, and tomfoolery that it's like a special achievement in a Hitman game. Reply. Bomb that fails to explode. Generals don't want troops lining the streets to protect the Duke cause their uniforms weren't clean. Assassin not sure what's going on decides to go to a sandwich shop on the corner to get some food. Everyone decides how to get the Archduke out of town but neglect to tell the driver where to go, so, when he doesn't turn, all the generals start yelling at him and he pops the clutch, throwing said generals off running boards, and the assassin just walks up and pops them both dead. Tesla's AC polyphase system. 1 minute, we're in the Stone Age of electrical distribution, and the next, Buffalo, New York is being powered by the alternating current being generated at Niagara Falls by Tesla's genius system. Reply. And here I am in Newfoundland where a $16 billion hydro project in Labrador can't get power to the island of Newfoundland because of ongoing software problems. It's 2021 FFS. How is this possible? The Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky was sentenced to death by firing squad, and just as they were preparing the groups to be shot, a messenger came with a letter from the Tsar forgiving them, and the sentence was changed to prison labor. He later went on to write some of the most influential novels of all time. There have been at least 40 attempts to kill Hitler after he had risen to power. Sometimes they failed because the assailant couldn't get close enough, at least that's what they said afterwards, but a lot of them failed because of reasons that seem plausible if it happens once but begin to smell fishy when you look at all of them. Stauffenberg could have just shot the guy. His attempt was part of a general upheaval after all, so his chances to survive that day would have been not that bad. But he planted a bomb because that went so well the last times. And so on. We will never know why, but somebody believed or even knew that a premature death of Hitler would have been even worse for the world than what we got. Or it was a wereaboo who wanted to see a tiger too. Who knows? Reply. My favorite failed attempt was when a Wehrmacht general was going to kill him with a suicide bomb. The general was in charge of a weapons depot, and Hitler was coming to inspect the equipment. The plan was to set the timer for a few minutes, then at the end of the tour grab Hitler in a bear hug and they'd both blow up. For some unknown reason Hitler was in a hurry. He sped through the tour in just a couple minutes, leaving before the bomb went off. The general had to run to the bathroom and race to disarm the bomb, saying he managed it with only seconds to spare. The American Civil War's first real battle was at Bull Run on land belonging to a Mr. McLean. After that he said, screw this, I'ma move to the country and avoid this war. He moved to Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, where Lee surrendered to Grant, in the McLean's living room. Reply. Later, Wilmer McLean was heard to have said the war began in my front yard and ended in my front parlor. Mendeleev, who created the periodic table, was struggling to order the elements in a specific order/pattern. He then was able to order them like we see today after having a dream where all the elements fell into place, even leaving gaps for elements that hadn't yet been discovered. I know it's not exactly a major historical event, but it's been the foundation of science for over a century, but when I first heard I thought it was a bit suspicious how it all fell into place. Stanislav Petrov was a Soviet lieutenant known as the man who saved the world. Tensions were rising between the Soviet Union and the United States, So on the 26th of September in 1983, he was on duty for a nuclear early warning system. The system detected multiple missiles launched by the United States, but Petrov broke protocol, following his instincts by choosing not to report the danger to his higher-ups. The missiles turned out to be a false alarm, as he had thought, and, as Petrov's title suggests, he very well may have saved the world that day. Saving the world just off of a hunch definitely seems like something a time traveler might do. Seuss. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.